Hey, this is Nola out there. You are now rocking with Il McKenzie right here.
Yo, what up, world? It's your man 504 Detroit. You already know every Tuesday, every Thursday, I'm tuned in to the hottest radio station across the land, Quarantine Radio. They put it down and they play all the hottest new music. Let's get it.
It's your boy Gabe, and I want to give a big shout out to Quarantine Radio. Make sure you check them out every Tuesday and every Thursday. And thank you for supporting my new single, Down Low.
I want to hear that new soul-free wisdom on Quarantine Radio.
Yo, what's up, man? It's the Kid Swift, a baby. Young Swift. One time for the check-in with my dog, my homie, Il McKenzie. Straight out of ATL, Georgia. And you know how we rockin' out here, baby. Let's get it.
I try to be humble. I try to be humble. I tried being humble. Humble get no respect. Yes, it's your boy iDub once again with another edition of Quarantine Radio. Alright, so as I've been speaking to everybody about it, we have a women's flag football team. It's not originally how we had pictured it and everything as far as it just being ours. We actually joined forces with another team. So our coaching staff has actually joined another coaching staff. We basically are the defensive coordinators of that team. But any females that were interested in playing flag football, we encourage you to hit us up at N4orce.com so we can give you details. As of right now, last Saturday was our first official practice. The first game actually is in March, but you know we're trying to get the team organized and everything, get them on the same page and everything. So that's why we actually started practice early. So if you're interested, our head coach is actually a personal trainer. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, they actually train in the gym. So you actually get a free personal trainer if you join our team. That you don't have to pay for it just because you're on the team and everything. Well, there's a registration fee to actually be on the team. But other than that, you get a free personal trainer throughout the whole season, and they also work out throughout the off season and everything. So that is a bonus for joining our team. So it's the Gridiron Gang. You might have saw me advertising them on social media, as far as on Instagram or on Facebook and stuff like that. So if you're interested in playing, hit me up at N4orce.com. Other than that, there's not really too much going on. We got a couple things that's going on, but I'm going to keep that in the wraps for right now. We'll probably talk about it later. Tonight on the show, we have our co-host, King Cancer, joining us.
What's up, what's up?
And Joy is supposed to be calling in, and our new co-host, she actually overslept, so she might call in as well. We're going to have to see how we can actually do that. So you might get to see her. You might get to see her Thursday. But tonight, most likely, we're not going to be able to see her tonight. Because she just texted me and let me know that she had actually overslept and everything. But other than that, we have on the show tonight joining us CEO of N4orce Entertainment, Mike G.
What's up, Rollywood?
All right, so we're going to get into a little bit more about him and how he's actually helping the independent music scene and everything, and dip into like how he can help you as an independent artist if you're looking for an agent, because he's also an agent, manager, and stuff like that. But there's a lot of stuff that he can actually help independent artists with. So that's why I wanted to bring him on the show, because that's what we're all about, helping people build their brands, giving them the right information, the right tools and stuff like that. And he is a man that can actually help you with that. So let me get into a couple of tracks right quick, and then we're going to come back, chop it up with him, and see exactly how he can actually help you. All right, first track that I'm actually going to be playing, I believe, is one of his actual artists, Mr. Chenier. Yeah,
Mr. Chenier.
Yeah, Mr. Chenier. I'll make sure I have pronounced that right. What She's Got Me, featuring Mosa Flocks and Bugsby Millions. All right, this is Mr. Chenier with She's Got Me. All right.
I'm getting cake, so we wait on them dinner dates. Then I contemplate on fate, on how you give a chase. I ain't with the fake, I hate to be the band loosened. It's love for hip-hop, hard to be with the band. Let's go. Plus your man's rapping, and your hands clapping, and your fingers snapping. This ain't time for the acting, this is time for relaxing. Stop trying to fight me, stop trying to box me. But surely you got me, like Adrian, I'm blazing men if they gazing in. No hotels when I'm talking to days in. Cause you know I'm about to fast flow like Joe, and I don't wanna be a player no more.
Ran the streets to chase some skirts, and on the line I played the flirt, and I told some stories of my life, and I brought them home and said goodbye. And then I heard this cougar growl, and we conversated for a while. She came up to my surprise, and on her mission, ride or die. Ran the streets to chase some skirts, and on the line I played the flirt, and I told some stories of my life, and I brought them home and said goodbye. And then I heard this cougar growl, and we conversated for a while. She came up to my surprise, and on her mission, ride or die. I played the cool, kept my composure. I stayed away when she came closer. My eyes was closed and I still saw her. She's got me, she's got me. Falling in love with my focus. She's got me, my own Beyonce. She's got me, she's got me. Movie screens and magazines, mama. Interviews and all these things, mama. What's my status? Check the book. And I accepted, I'm looking on Facebook. So what now? Booty like throwing at me, but I'm dodging, cause shorty like loving me. Guess I slipped up, now I'm caught up, cause she's wifed up, and I'm loved up. Hold me down, queen, she told me. When she rock the bed, she hold me. Make me cook food, I'm full, she feed me. Look me in my eyes, say she's not supposed to be here. When the sun rises, be elsewhere. When the mountain rise, could leave me. What she really want from me. She came closer, baby. She's got me, she's got me. Falling in love, holding my focus. She's got me being my own Beyonce. She's got me, she's got me. Never at a club just to wanna turn up. Popping bottles, two-stepping all the way, turn up. Got me feeling I'm a schoolgirl, schooling me, teaching me, gaming me, slow down, trying to get the best of me. Her body's on fleek, show no, but she got up in my mind. Think she, you kissed me, you love me, real me, you kissed me, you love me, you kissed me, you got me. Wait a minute, damn.
Got you, baby, got you open, got you real tight. I know you're scared of loving, baby, but it's alright. I got your back and I'ma hold you down through thick and thin. Cause ain't nothing like your lover and your best friend. And I know the mother chicks was unreliable, but this is true love, it's undeniable. And now it seems that I'm the only thing that's on your mind. Cause now you got me and I got you and it was on time.
I played the cool, kept my composure. Close to baby. She came close, my eyes was closed and I still saw her. Baby. She's got me, she's got me. Caught up with your lady. Focus. Caught up with your lady. Caught up with your lady. She's got me. Now she has my name.
Yeah. It's like sweet sounds of melody. To hear all the things that you're telling me. What looks so fine should be a felony, but there's no place that I'd rather be. So I'm here with you. So give it to me, yeah. 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 Cold champagne, wonderful evening. Cold champagne, beautiful night. Cold champagne, love it or leave it. She already told me that she having the time of her life. Warm brandy out of cold glass. Warm brandy, apple rose splash. Warm brandy in the round ass. Cut the into the stokie, smoke it and then kick back and laugh. I tell her, holla if you're no good. Then put my feet up on that rosewood. High class, top dollar. Nice to meet you, sweetie. Really, this is my honor. I know a gold medal when I see it now. Standing there looking like rose petals in an evening gown. The type of beautiful woman you only read about. And you already know what it is whenever it's me around.
Sweet sounds of melody. To hear all the things that you're telling me. What looks so fine should be a felony. But there's no place that I'd rather be. Woo. So give it to me, yeah. So give it to me, yeah, yeah, yeah. So give it to me, yeah. So give it to me, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cold Chardonnay and fresh fruit. Cold Chardonnay in my best suit. Cold Chardonnay in the Lex coupe. She just wanna hold it while we rollin' Summit Avenue. Warm sake in a half graph. Warm sake in a bubble bath. Warm rice wine out of Okinawa. Can't help but notice cherry blossoms as we roll past. I'm with a diva that's pretty, you know. They gave me the key to the city, you know. And this wrist game 20 below. Cause I do it like nobody ever did it before. She call me Big Papa in a helicopter. I tell her word proper like a teleprompter. I showed her another lifestyle. So won't you turn the music up and cut the lights down? Lights loud.
Sweet sounds of melody. To hear all the things that you're telling me. What looks so fine should be a felony. But there's no place that I'd rather be. Woo. So give it to me, yeah. So give it to me, yeah, yeah, yeah. So give it to me, yeah. So give it to me, yeah, yeah,
yeah. Gunna. Hey Slim, nobody saw this one coming.
I'm the reason why.
Yeah. Spread our lifestyle. You can say that I'm the reason why you waking up in cold sweats and can't sleep at night. I got your text messages, you deleted mine. About how you sexing him, you wish it was me inside. He don't beat it right, he can't even eat it right. Dinner date, shrimp and steak, he can't even buy. Remember when you said I lose if I even tried? I'll Instagram my new whip, let you see inside. This look like losing to you, baby. Two beauties from Haiti and Houston, we doing 80. New movie producing with Luda and I'm debating. While you on your computer confusing about who I'm dating. Yeah, thought you about the OD. Got scared of the feeling and decided you should leave. I'm a drug in your vein and I cut so deep. Really hope you get the help you need, baby girl. Come on.
You were clean for a year, back in the mix. Hurry up to your relapse. I'm a reason why.
Yeah.
Take pictures of me now you're having a fit. You were clean for a year, back in the mix. Hurry up to your relapse. I'm a heart habit. Everybody
sing along.
Heart habit, good baby. Heart habit, I'm the reason why.
Never said it would be easy. You didn't believe me. Like a smoker to a cigarette. I bet you ain't forget me yet. Hey baby, I'm a hard habit kid. And it pains me to see you in denial like a child, so see-through. At the club every night and all see-through. On the sneak reading my tweets, ain't that a fiend move? Remember me and you in better days. College promises said that we would never change. I knew you well, baby, I could read your every face. It's in your eyes, but it burns like pepper spray. I guess you going through withdrawals, I'm going through deposits. Ain't you see me in the mall? Open up your options and you thinking you was wrong. I'll never take you back and forever it's so long. Oh, you said you didn't need Josh. Guess you and Dr. Dre both probably never detox. I guess I cut too deep. I really hope you get the help you need, baby girl. Oh. Hey, never said it would be easy, but you didn't believe me. Like a smoker to a cigarette. I bet you ain't forget me yet. Hey baby, I'm a hard habit kid. Come on. I bet you think this song is about you. don't you? I bet you think this song is about you.
Baby, I'm the reason.
Yeah.
You were great for a year.
I know, baby.
From me to your relapse, I'm a heart with the reason.
So hard. Yeah.
Me now you're having it. You were great for a year. Now you're back in the mix. From rehab to your relapse, I'm a heart. Everybody sings love. Heart habit. Heart habit. I ain't the reason why.
Believe me. Like a smoker to a cigarette. I guess you ain't forget me yet. I know, baby. With the utmost sincerity, way you acting is embarrassing. From rehab to your relapse, I ain't never coming back. Hey, baby. Remember we used to ride around listening to 112 3 CD in the car? Used to say how much you love Slim's voice. What about now?
Alright, we're back. First track was Mrs. Chanel with She Got Me featuring Muscle Flocks and Bugsy Millions. Second track was The Fat Boy with Taste. And third track was a throwback track with Joshua Gunn, Hard Havoc featuring Slim from 112. Alright, so as always, I'm going to give you an opportunity to give like a slim, short bio of you just for people that don't know who you are, so they can get to know you and stuff. And then I'm going to let Cancer over here give you an interview and stuff like that.
All right, my name is Mike Gathings. I'm the CEO of N4orce Entertainment Agency, LLC. We have a entertainment company / talent agency, and I also do music consultations for artists. And I was born in Norfolk, Virginia, lived in Corinth, Mississippi, and did stint in the military. Came back to Raleigh, I think it was back in 97, and I've been here ever since. For those who have known me back in the day, I also had a show on Channel 10, Time Warner Cable, called the On Blast TV Raleigh Durham. Other than that, I've been doing music ever since, starting in 2015. Well, starting the record label actually in 2003. And from 2003 to 2015 is when I actually got the partnership agreement with Universal Music Group for distribution. So I was able to obtain that in 2015 for N4orce Entertainment Agency, LLC. And then in 2016, I was the first minority-owned company in the state of North Carolina to actually get a partnership agreement with a Latin company called Altafonte, based in Madrid, Spain. They have a headquarters in Miami, Florida here. But I was the first company to actually sign a partnership agreement with them here in the state of North Carolina. In 2017, we started putting out, I guess it was like our third artist on Universal, named Angelina. The first one I put out in 2015 was an artist called, oh my goodness, the track was called Biggie, but the artist was named 100 Cream. And he was the first artist that I sent through Universal, and he was based out of Goldsboro, North Carolina. The second artist that I sent out was an artist by the name of Destiny Palmer. At that time, she was out of Houston, Texas. She's currently now living in Atlanta, Georgia. So you should be having something new coming from her pretty soon. And then followed by Mr. Chenier, which song you heard during the stint here. But Mr. Chenier has a new record coming out on February the 14th. So it's like a Valentine's Day release. It's going to be another Steppers track. But he's coming out with that one going through Universal as well this year. So that'll be the first one we'll send out through Universal this year. In the meantime, on the 14th of this month, I also was able to obtain a partnership agreement with Sony Orchard. So I'm actually able to send music out on the independent side through the Orchard on the Sony. So that's why you won't hear me say too much N4orce Entertainment, SRGILS Universal, because I also deal with other companies as well. I do mostly music consultations. I actually do websites. On the talent agency side, we'll cast actors and actresses for roles in different castings that's going on. Mostly on the East Coast, but I can do worldwide, but most of the stuff on the East Coast. Here we find most of the castings coming from the state of Georgia, down in Atlanta. We don't get that many in North Carolina anymore due to that tax break going away for the entertainment industry and the film industry. But Atlanta took all the work back down to Atlanta, so most of the jobs are down in Atlanta. But that's basically what I have on. Currently, like I say, other than Shanier's release on February 14th, we are also working on a gospel concert, which will feature Kiara Kiki Sheard. That's going to be scheduled for August the 17th of this year. So that's the big thing that I'm working on right now, getting that worked out. Came down between her and Kim Burrell, Pastor Kim Burrell. And since we're doing a back-to-school book supply drive, that's the purpose for the gospel concert. We wanted to get somebody that was younger, so we went with Kiki Sheard. So that's what I'm up to right now. But I'm always willing to help other artists that's trying to get into the industry. I can help you get like your copyrights, your performance rights, paperwork that you need to get, such as BMI, ASCAP, CCAP, Sound Exchange. I can have you all set up for that. But the types of things that you don't really hear too much on the back side. Most of the time you have the artists that they can get in the booth and sing or rap or whatever, but you don't hear too much about the work that goes on the backside, mostly including marketing. Because without a good marketing plan, it's hard to really break it into this industry. But that's basically, in a nutshell, what I do and what I have going on right now.
Oh man, that was a good brief description. So I want to take it to the beginning. You say you were born in Norfolk?
Right.
But you spent your life growing up in Mississippi?
Lambert's Point community in Norfolk.
Okay.
And it's on the water. I love being on the water. And when I grew up a lot of my teenage years in Corinth, Mississippi. I went to Jackson State University. By the time I got here to North Carolina, that was the first time around was in '83. In '83, I think what turned me on about Raleigh was I think they had beat Virginia. I think it was NC State in Virginia.
Yeah.
I played for the championship. And, actually, I think it was NC State in Virginia for one of the tournament games. And they had beat, I think Ralph Sampson? I think Ralph Sampson might have been playing that year. But it's so far back. But at that particular time, they came back to NC State. I had met some girl here in Raleigh, and we went up on the campus, and they had this thing going on in Brickyard on the campus of NC State. And like I said, there was a lot of celebration and everything going on because at that particular time, NC State had advanced on. And I was seeing all the partying and everything going on. I said, oh, man, I think I want to come here. So, I moved on to Raleigh. And like I said, shortly after that, I think it was around the time of Ronald Reagan and all that stuff. I had joined the Air Force, and the Air Force did stint in there, including up to Desert Storm. Yeah. But after that, I got out and came back here to Raleigh, and at that point, I'm actually still working at the same company. My other occupation is I work at a biotech company. Okay. So I've been there now for 21 and a half years. So it's been going well, and I feel lucky to be in one place for a long time. But music always been my love. I was in the high school band when I was going to. I think I started. Let's see. I guess you call it intermediate school. Was there a time middle school? Middle school all the way through high school. I was in the band. I play alto sax.
Okay,
that's my instrument, and I just had a liking for music. So it was kind of easy to me. There was this. I got approached by a gentleman that was he was already kind of working in the music industry, and I was taking classes at University of Phoenix for business management.
Okay.
And so he just happened to come by the house. I think he was he worked for Orkin, I believe it was. Anyway, he was doing the evaluation of our house. To make a long story short. But anyway, he came through and he asked me, would I like to work with him in the record label business.
Okay.
That record label was called Official Music, and it had a headquarters in California. It was San Jose, California, and here in Raleigh with him. So it was just basically me and him working here in Raleigh.
Okay.
The rest of the people were in California. But going with that, I learned the hard way about the entertainment business because it can be very sketchy. You can lose thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Dealing with that because I think we were at that particular time we had an artist that we were bringing from California all the way here to Raleigh. Well, he actually went to DC to actually do a concert and an interview at the radio station there. So it got my feet kind of wet in regards to dealing with all the stuff that has to go along with being a record label. And I could see some of the dirty stuff because some of the things that people said that they could do didn't actually happen. So, I kind of took it in and learned. And it takes a lot of studying. It takes a lot of investigation work. In order to see, you need to come up with a plan, first of all, to understand where you're trying to get with your product.
Yeah.
In this case, with music. But in order to have a plan, you need to know what you want to get to, what you want to obtain. A lot of times what I found is best to work in small steps and gradually get your way up. Every time you complete a step, be successful and get those steps going and then move on to larger things. So for me, the label at that time didn't have a website. So we had invested, I think it was like $1,000 for somebody to do a website, and the website never got past the homepage.
Oh man!
And so I said, okay, well, let me study up and look into these web pages. And I learned, and I went ahead and made up one for my own. But by that time, I was already making up my mind that I wanted to go ahead and start my own label.
Yeah.
So I went about the route to go ahead and get my incorporation. So I filed for my incorporation papers. At that time, it was N4orce Records.
Yeah.
And got everything set up there. Like I said, got that website put together and everything out. And I partnered up with another team in order to have it going here. And like I said, this was based in Raleigh. My first group was called Triple Threat, and they were a group out of Wilson, North Carolina.
Okay.
I got those boys when they were 16 years old.
Young.
And they were young. Yeah, young and hungry. And it was the challenging part was being that I was here in Raleigh and they were in Wilson. So what we did was every other weekend I would drive down to Wilson and pick them up, bring them back here to Raleigh, and we would go to the studio and they would record. So during the time that they were back home, they would be working on their lyrics and everything ready. When you're dealing with labels, what we do a lot of times is we'll go ahead and we'll have the instrumental tracks. We'll have what they call a listening party, and we'll listen to a whole bunch of tracks that the producers may have. And it's good to get a kind of a variety of producers because everybody's sound is not going to be the same.
Yeah.
Now you want to have some consistency on how you want your flow to be on the album. But a lot of times it's good to have a different variety of producers because, like I said, they can bring a different sound to you. Everybody might not be able to bring a neo soul type flow to a track. everybody might not be able to bring a trap beat or it kind of hard rap beats into the actual project. So it's good to kind of have a balance of that. After Triple Threat, I had my first R&B artist named Tyrone Hunter. His stage name was Jay Quill. He was, like I said, he was a Chapel Hill native. But the guy was very talented, and he was actually able to open up for the artist John B.
Okay.
R&B
I like John B.
Yeah, he opened up for him. He was awesome. Let's see, after him, who was next? One of the guys from the Triple Threat group went solo. And, he had a project out. So his name was C1. And following that, like I said, I came up to the part to where I wanted to go ahead and branch out. And I took a shot with the Universal Music Group distribution. And I can tell people now the difference in having that from being just a total independent label is that you have more freedom with the independent side.
Yeah.
Like we were discussing before. I ain't gonna bring up R. Kelly.
But you might not want to do that.
Yeah, but what we were just discussing earlier is that you have more checks. You have people that actually, they're gonna check your artwork. They're gonna check your tracks. They want to check all your metadata to make sure. Metadata, for those that don't know, that's information about the track that you're putting out. So it's going to contain like your producers on the track.
Okay.
Because a lot of time, you never hear about these guys. So it has to be a way.
Is that what they like when you buy a CD and it has like the list of like everybody that worked on the track and
the credits?
Yeah.
You have your credits. The metadata actually can be encoded into the track. So, like if it gets played on the radio, you still have all the information and everything you need from that.
Okay.
They won't have the cover, but since the track is going, the information is actually embedded in there.
So that's what tells you what the name of the track is. And okay.
Yeah,
that was something I always wondered.
Like every track that I send out, I make sure that the IRSC number is also in there. That's a number that's going to be specific to that particular track. So it won't be used for anything else but that track. So I also put that and embed that in the metadata so that...
That's how they keep track of the streaming, right?
Right.
Yeah. Make sure they get
streaming,
paid and everything.
Sales, all that.
Make sure the artists
you
get
ever heard
paid.
of Sound Scan?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's what that number is used for that.
So...
I got something to say about that right quick, because like I remember I was listening to the Breakfast Club, and I remember that was Little Duval. He had actually sent one of the peoples from the Breakfast Club his music, but he forgot to send them the one with the scans and everything, so he wasn't getting credit for his spins that whole time.
Right.
So like they were saying that he could have been number one on the Billboard charts, but he wasn't getting his credit because he just sent like a regular wave file of his song and everything. And after like what do you have to go to actually get that embedded and everything into your music to make sure that you are getting credit and everything? And like how much trouble is it to actually, if you actually do send out the wrong one, to actually start receiving those credits back for the ones that were actually played?
Yeah, you'd have to work it out with your publisher. Now, like I said, what I try to do before it even leaves from the camp, I make sure all that information's in there. But if something gets out and it has wrong information in there, it's best to, sometimes you can get them like, that's one of the main differences, say like from Universal, or if we just went to say like CD Baby or somebody and loaded something in there. A lot of times they'll go ahead and send it out within like 3 days or so, and sometimes even shorter. I've had one to go out like the next day, but with Universal, they hold me to a 30-day wait period before a release can actually be published out. So, like I say, they got time to sit up there, and if it's any changes, I can call them up, say, hey, I need to take this off. But if it's one that, go out there, they have to do what they call a takedown. And that takedown, sometimes it could take 2 weeks. Sometimes it could take a month. So, you know, if you're putting out a track and it's one that's, and I would find that hard to happen to somebody who's actually on the level to where they have their stuff on the radio in rotation now, because at that time they're probably in a major or somebody or a publisher that's, you know, semi-major, so they pretty much has that stuff down packed. So they would be able to change it for them. But if, so like for instance, for Universal, I would have to make a call, say, hey, I made a mistake on this, and send them to correct that information, and then they will get it in, hopefully in time before it goes live. Once it goes live, it's a wrap. You have to do what they call a takedown. And like I said, that could cost you at least 2 weeks to a month for all the stores to see what happened. It's been released.
Yeah.
So it's already out to all the retailers.
So they got it.
Yeah, so you have to wait for all the retailers to take it down, and then you have to republish. So that's the downside to not verifying that the information that you have on there is correct before it goes out. Because, like I said, you will lose those sales. Like, for instance, what he was talking about with Lil Duval, you will lose those sales because, like I said, the information's not there. So
exactly,
when they look at it, we don't have to really credit you for it because the information is not there.
So my question is to go back to when you decided to work with Universal. What made you want to go that route? What made you say, I want to try to go ahead and do this and see what happens?
That's a good question. For me, I wanted to be able to offer something here in this area. Like I say, New York, California, Atlanta, you know, Nashville. Yeah. Those are where the major hubs are for most of the major labels. Yeah. Whether it's Universal, Warner, or Sony. But the thing is about that, a lot of the artists here I noticed weren't on Pandora. You know, a lot of them didn't have any kind of chance of being on the radio. Like I say, just like we're talking about the metadata. Yeah. Nobody really knows about how that really goes in regards to getting that information on. You have media base. The radio stations need media base. At least media base, or they can have what can I say? At least BMI or ASCAP. You know, one of the performance rights organizations have one of those, be registered with one of those, and then have the sound scan information, all that stuff in to be able to get on the radio. Because, like I say, what happened to Lil Duval will happen to, you know, that particular artist because the information is not in. And a lot of radio stations, it's like if the particular track is not edited right. When I'm saying edited right, I'm talking about a clean, if we say a clean or radio ready track. Yeah. If it's not that, they can't put it on either because of the regulations, the FCC regulations that they have. Yeah. So it's a lot of stuff that you have to go in. Like I said, all this stuff is the back office stuff that a lot of people don't really realize they have to go on in order to actually move on. But these are services that I provide, so you know, all is not lost. But those are some of the things that you need to have. And you were discussing in regards to why did I move to Universal? Yes. The reason why I wanted to get to Universal was that I wanted to be able to reach more retailers. Like I said, if you go to CD Baby, your track is not guaranteed to get on Pandora. For those who haven't checked it, Spotify, they only give you fractions of a cent per stream. So you're not really making that much money off streaming going to sites like Spotify. Okay. Pandora pays you a lot more than Spotify. See, I investigated that. So I said, okay, I want to make sure my artists get to Pandora. I want to make sure my artists are on YouTube. Yeah. The videos are actually paying more than the actual tracks now. Okay. Now, the other side of it, Spotify is the service that everybody's tracking, though. And you can imagine why. They can track everybody there, but they're not paying you. They're not paying you that much. You know, it's going to take you a million streams in order to actually be able to have any kind of real big money.
Yeah. From what I heard, I think Tidal is the one that actually pays the most. Right. Mm-hmm. And it has to do with
and you know, maybe we covered it in our current event things, but you know, there's some stuff going on about Tidal too, where they think that There might have been some fictitious information.
I haven't heard about that yet. You bringing some news.
Yeah, that's the latest thing. Like I said, I don't know whether it's true, but it's just allegations of that certain artists going through, certain major artists, let me even clarify that, certain major artists were going through Tidal and getting credit for spins. That's really real. That's the new thing. But like I said, that's the new information out, and it's like I said, it's just alleged right now. I guess they're investigating it. But
so let's definitely say allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
So nobody from Tidal's like, hey, they're talking about nope, get them out, get it out.
But Tidal is a good service. I offer that. All my artists are on Tidal. Mm-hmm. All my artists are on Pandora.
What about SoundCloud?
Except the ones that didn't go through.
SoundCloud don't pay.
But do you tell your artists to get onto SoundCloud?
SoundCloud is maybe just a good promotional site, but if you listen to the sound quality, it's not as good either on SoundCloud.
Well, I'll say SoundCloud, like you said, because a lot of artists will put their music on SoundCloud just for the promotion.
And I think for some, they starting to pay now. They're starting to pay some. I haven't really looked at the rates compared to somebody like.
Oh, is that you? Yeah, I'm here. One moment, kind of get messed with it, Mike. Can you say something again?
Again.
Okay. All right, we got you. All right. So, this is our other co-host, Joy.
Hello, Joy.
Hey, what's up?
All right.
Alright, so because I didn't know that SoundCloud was actually paying now, because from what I was hearing, like that's basically just the free, and that's why a lot of artists kind of steer away because like they can't generate any money from SoundCloud, but they do have the thing where you can link your iTunes to it, from what I understand, where a person can actually purchase, but like you can have all these streams, and then it's kind of fluctuated because people buy listens now too.
Right. And I think with SoundCloud, that's one thing that spot, and that might be something different that we're talking about. But when I was speaking before, I was talking about how serious marketing is. And the promotional part, you just can't do without it. You have to have a plan for that. You need to have a budget for it. I have a lot of artists that come to me and they want me to do stuff, but then they don't have a budget. They don't have a plan on how they want to do it. All they know is we want it. We want it, but they don't have a budget or a way for me to look at. Okay, this is what you have budgeted. And I can set a plan for you to be able to get the number of streams or however you want to get, or number of subscribers on your account that you're trying to get. But what happens with the buying of streams, what happens with that, and a lot of the companies, I know Universal has, I've tried one of them. And buying the streams, what happens with that is a lot of times, especially with the majors, they'll go back and they'll look and see, okay, we had a sizable jump. All of a sudden, you was at 213 streams and or likes, in that case. You were at 213 likes, and now all of a sudden you have 1.3 million. And then they look down, and this is something that I also look at when artists come to me and say they would like for me to help them out. But I'll look and I'll see how many comments. Okay, you have 1.3 million likes, and you have only 2 comments. I've seen one have no comments, and over 1,000 streams. Okay, that would tell me a couple of things. The first thing is, okay, yes, there's a high potential of that being just paid streams, and that person don't really have a real following. Number 2, and that's not only just me, the major labels, they're going to want to see how much you're following. They want to see, it's all about money for them, so they're going to look at something or a situation that's going to be beneficial for them. So if you're not really having good numbers, your chances of really getting pushed by them, even if they do sign you, they'll just shelve you and they'll push somebody who's really bringing in the numbers. So that's something to be watchful of, and that's why I think marketing is the most important part. in regards to getting yourself to the next level that you want. But SoundCloud, just like you discussed before, for me, I would think SoundCloud would be more of a promotional item to be able to use. Like I said, you can link your music to your iTunes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But if anybody's been watching, record sales are down. Yeah. So people are not really buying music. So that's why the streaming sites are really picking up a lot, because people would rather go ahead and just stream it other than, pull out their wallet and using a credit card and downloading the link. But that's why shows are very much important, because that's where the artist is really going to get their money. And that's going to be for live shows. Okay, somebody might ask, well, how do I get live shows? Live shows, once again, is going to come to that buzz. That buzz is going to come from marketing. That marketing is going to come from having a plan and a budget. Yeah. So it all comes down to, having that marketing plan and a budget. Not only just a product, but you need to have a budget, and you need to have people that know what they're doing, that's working on your project.
Yeah, 'cause I've seen some people, like, they'll pay like the small fee for certain promotional people, and like they'll do their job to get you on there. But what I notice is that they don't push it. So they basically, because like I had one friend, is like, yeah, they'll do this for me, do that for me, and he'll pay his $20 for it, and then like he'll get his music on the platform, like, and on Spotify and all that, but like they don't have any exposure to it. Like, is it? And then like what he say, he just makes a little change on there, and he's basically doing the work of doing the promotion. And I was like, you were better off like paying somebody more money that was actually going to push your because like I know a couple PRs and everything that actually I seen them push people's stuff and everything, and I was trying to tell them, you need to work with them instead of these people that just nickel and dime it. Yeah. So yeah, it's really important that artists actually look at that as far as what is going to help their career and stuff like that. Because it's one thing just to have your music on there, but like if you're not actually pushing it or have somebody actually helping you push it, it's like it was never there.
Right. And that's the part that a lot of people don't sit back and look at in regards to push your own music. If you're an artist, what I try to tell my artists is to go ahead and if they're in the studio or something like that, show a little video clip. You need a lot of fan involvement. You need to communicate with your fans. Don't look for like you were talking about before, don't really look for anybody else to push your music more than you push yourself. That would be like me not pushing N4orce. So I'm going, okay, I'm going to sit back and just hope everybody else push N4orce. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But one of the things that that's also important is to make sure that, political stuff, things like that, leave that off. If you're an artist, leave that off your site. Stick to your music, stick to your craft, and just try to improve your craft and react with your fans as much as possible. I know we were joking about the R. Kelly stuff, but even sometimes with that can hurt you, because just like I was saying before, I had to go and change the EPK because it just had his name as an inspiration in there. So it's important to understand what's going on, understand the business side, and I'm talking about for artists. It's best to understand what's going on the business side as well as the production side, where you're just making the music. Because if you expect somebody else to do it, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to do it as hard as if you were pushing yourself. But just like he was stating before, you can't do everything yourself. So it's best to get a good team that can surround you and help push you out. Even myself, there's people that I have to communicate with in order to say, okay, well, what do you suggest that I do for this particular situation? And get feedback on it. Some people won't tell you unless you pay. But, like I said, that's part of making sure you have that budget in place to be able to cover any kind of questions or situations that may come up to where you're trying to get to a next step in your career. But there's some items that, like I said, you don't really are unsure about.
Yeah. So my question for you is, and picking your artists, do you have any set criteria? How do you go about picking who you're going to work with, who you're going to bring to your label?
That's a very good question. For me personally, I tend to like neo soul or soul R&B acts more. I like hip hop, but for hip hop, I like more storytelling or East Coast rap. There's some Dirty South rap that I like too as well. But I like to have music that has a message. I like music that can reach more people. And for me, I'm leaning more toward. I even have a dance. I didn't mention about my dance music artist. She's over in the UK. She's from Greece, but she's living in London right now. But I'm open to all kind of genres. But like I say, my favorites are R&B and I would say some jazz as well. But R&B is like my favorite.
Number one. I'm curious and interested to hear the story about the one that lives in London. How did you work that out?
Well, people hear about you. She actually heard about me through this guy in Florida, and she was bugging him to death about, they're trying to get this out, trying to get that. So he referred her to me, and I talked to her and everything. And like I say, it was something new, and I said she was with the dance genre, so I was like, okay, I haven't done a dance track before. Let me see what I can do with the dance track. So since I knew that she was living in the UK, that was some of the homework that I was doing. Okay, let me go and listen to some of the music that's going on in the UK right now. Let me see some of the artists that are hot over there in that particular genre, and look at some of the labels that were doing that type of music over there. I think BMG, 50/50 Music was doing a lot with dance artists over there. But what I saw was their structure for paying the royalties for artists was real bad, because they had offered me a deal. Myself, they had offered me a deal with them, and like I said, it was 50/50. I was like, no, that sounded like good numbers to me, because even at 50, the 50 that N4orce would take in, then I would have to split that with the artists as well. Yeah. But they're keeping their 50,
all to themselves.
Yeah. So I didn't really see it as a beneficial good deal for my company. But for somebody just starting out, if they got a direct deal with them, if they didn't mind losing 50%, then it might have been a good thing for them in regard, mostly for writers. They did a lot of work for writers, and dance music. That was the genres that they were mostly. EDM is what we call it.
Okay.
EDM music, but they were specializing in that. Like I said, I have no limit on any kind of genre. I'll take a country and western artist that came the way and wanted to work. But the thing is, R&B is my favorite, and when it comes to looking for an artist, I like to see what kind of following they have. That's the next thing. I look at their streams, and that's like we were talking about before. That's where you'll notice if they had a whole bunch of likes, but then no comments, or if you didn't see many blogs, you Google their stage name, and you don't see any tracks or whatever, or any sales record in regards to their tracks selling anywhere. Those are things I look at. I want to see if the person can actually sing. I want to listen to the vocals. I'm starting to work with this guy out of the New England area named Elian Virtuoso. He's interesting. He's a Latin guy, but he's he does English too. He does American music as well. Okay, but his voice to me is real good. He sounds kind of like a John B. If you want to get a voice thing, he sounds very good. You can Google him, Elian V on some of the tracks, or Elian Virtuoso. You can Google him and see his numbers, but the numbers are real high. I do a check on all my artists. There's a site called Next Big Sound. You can use that app for people who are interested in seeing what kind of numbers artists are kind of putting out there. Chenier, last February, like I said, I put out that Night to Remember EP. I think you played one of the tracks from that.
Yeah.
The title song on that track is called Night to Remember. On that particular track, and She's Got Me, the one that you did play. Those two are doing real well on Pandora right now. So Mr. Schneer already has over 60,000 streams on Pandora. Wow. And the good thing, like I said, I can pull all this up and print it out. Elion has over 175,000
I can
streams.
listen to this guy.
but the difference is he's had a lot of projects out there already. Like I said, Mr. Schneer, that was the first one I put out there. But that's something I'm trying to bring to this area, like I say, the awareness. And I think there's a few more artists here in the area now that has just gotten on Pandora, but there wasn't that many here. I think maybe, what's the young lady's name? She won the Carolina Music Awards some years back. I can't think of her name right now. But
which category?
Female R&B.
Female R&B. I know what you're talking about. Michelle. No, it's not Michelle. Ashley Marshall.
Ashley Marshall.
Yeah, Ashley Marshall.
Yeah, Ashley Marshall. I did find her music on there. And back in the day, they used to allow you to be able to get on MTV online and all that stuff, and VH1 online. So I had one of my artists, Rashawn Fortune, on there. But Ashley was one of the older artists that I saw that had made it on that particular level. But other than that, I haven't found too many other people been able to get on there and get those type of numbers. But like I said, that's something that I could help somebody out with. Like I said, first of all, we have to get a marketing plan and get everything set up or what they're trying to get done. If it's trying to boost their numbers, once again, it goes back to promoting yourself. And it also goes back to looking for the right help to be able to get you those numbers. Buying the streams, that's not going to help you.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, that's not going to help you. What you can do, though, is, and that's something I did for Mr. Schneer, he went from 47 likes on that Night to Remember track to, I think it was like 1387 streams in just 1 month. And that was in the month of November. I just tried something called, they call it organic streams. Yeah, organic, whereas you can get on playlists and stuff like that. So if you can get on somebody's playlist that has a whole bunch of subscribers and followers, that's the best way to get your numbers up. And those numbers not going to wipe out. Now, if you buy them, sometimes what'll happen is they'll say, okay, we'll give you 1,000 streams for 30 days or something like that. At the end of that 30 days, you might notice some numbers starting to creep down. And like I said, that one that I tried, because what I like to do is I like to experiment with a lot of stuff. So if I'm going to be consulting somebody, I want to at least know, okay, what if somebody want to do that? I want to know the pros and cons for or against doing that particular situation. And the time that I did, I noticed those numbers starting to go down on the ones that I brought. So of course, it was like a low level. I think it was like 1,000. It was one that said like 1,000 streams or something like that for maybe $47 or something like that. Whatever, it wasn't that much. But the thing was, yeah, it shot up all of a sudden. And then after that 30 days, I started noticing it going down. So those weren't organic streams. So if you're going to buy it, make sure you're putting money into something that's going to be organic streams, organic likes, and that goes for YouTube and Spotify.
Okay.
You'll find tons of them and say they'll give you X number of likes on SoundCloud. Like I said,
don't do it.
That's a waste of time to me. It's a waste of time.
Now, I noticed earlier you said you also have a talent side where you're doing actors and actresses and things like that. So,
hold up. Let me go into another music break, and then we'll come back and talk about that. As far as that, first track that I'm about to play is No Lie Day with Good Feeling. This is No Lie Day with Good Feeling, and then we're gonna come back, chop it up some more with Mike G. All right.
Hey, this is Nola Ade, and you are now rocking with Il McKenzie right here.
such a good feeling. Wanna lose all control. Oh, it's such a good feeling, yeah. Feel it down in my soul. And I don't wanna ever let it go. I want to feel this way until I'm old. I was made to fly and touch the sky, so let me soar. It's time for us both to lose control. I get such a good feeling, feeling. Your kiss to me is healing, healing. My one wish on the star is to always be where you are. 'Cause you give me that feeling, feeling. Got so much I could share, share it all with the world. Stronger than any mountain, but as gentle as our love. And I don't wanna ever let it go. I want to feel this way until I'm old. I was made to fly and touch the sky, so let me soar. It's time for us both to lose control. I get such a good feeling, feeling. Your kiss to me is healing, healing. My one wish on the stars, I'll always be where you are. 'Cause you give me that feeling, feeling. I wanna never let go. I wanna never let go. Baby, I know that you know, and I know you won't ever let go. It's like I'm on an island with the finest, and we're dining, and it's all for me. And baby, you remind me, you're behind me, never hiding, want all to say. I get such a good feeling, feeling. Your kiss to me is healing, healing. My one wish on the stars, I'll always be where you are. 'Cause you give me that feeling. I wanna never let go. I wanna never let go. I wanna never let go. I wanna never let go.
Love wraps us like a summer breeze. We rise and fall, giving way to a tug of war, too tough to lose. I don't wanna let go.
Baby, don't you close that door on me. I'm thinking you should give me a try. Said this ain't nothing new to me. Nah, this can't be like how it used to be. It would break my heart if you went away. I'm doing what I can to convince you to stay. Please don't run away from me. No, baby, don't you shut that door on me. Baby, don't you shut that.
Go nowhere, stay where the windows fog hazy from the submersion of the rain, close to a crack on stained glass where images of us cruise in hues of the sunshine. Deep down I got the light in my soul, contemplating the beginning, never the end, holding on to something like a faded dream. Closed doors make room for this, for new ones, drifting into a space of comfort for my lonely, missing the way you hold me, reaching for your hand and saving smiles in this photographic memory. We keeping up with the waves in this chemistry, holding on to an endless history. I don't don't wanna let go, but I could, and I will.
Baby, don't you close that door on me. I'm thinking you should give me you a try. Said this ain't nothing new to me. Nah, this can't be like how it used to be. It would break my heart if you went away. I'm doing what I can to convince you to stay. Please don't run away from me. No, baby, don't you shut that door on me. Baby, don't you shut that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, no. Baby, don't shut that door. 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 Baby, don't shut that door.
Maybe we should talk. Run fast through high grass fields where we hide and seek. I'm seeking for the rest of you. Heart breaking down on us. Don't shut the door. When the ink bleeds like the heart beats. Just wanna remain.
Baby, don't you shut that door on me. I'm begging you, please. I said I'm begging you, please. No, baby girl, don't shut that door. Don't shut that door. Don't shut that door. And I'm just saying, baby, don't shut that door, baby. Don't shut that door, baby. Don't shut
Yes, I'm begging you, please.
Never felt this way before. It's like half of me is missing and the other half needs fixing, baby. Why'd I let you walk through the door? Now I wonder who you're kissing. If you're out there, hope you're listening. Because I want you, and I need you. You know I got to have you. 'Cause without you, I can't pull through. And baby, baby, I can't stop these tears from falling down.
back. First track was No Lie Day with Good Feeling. Second track was Naima with Shut the Door. Third track was Suzanne Christine with Falling Tears. All three of them. Well, Nala Day I interviewed a while back, so you're gonna have to search for that. But Naima and Suzanne Christine we actually interviewed recently, so you can always go back to my on demand and actually look at those and everything. For some reason, I'm not 100% sure why, but when you click on the link on a mobile app, it's not coming up with a live stream. But I have tested it out. If you do click it on a desktop or anything, you can watch it, or you can just go straight on a mobile device. If you have YouTube, just look me up at Il McKenzie, and it'll pull it up that way as well. But I've been trying to see exactly what's going on as far as click, because a couple of people told me that the link wasn't working on Facebook and everything when you try to click it from a mobile device and everything. So I just wanted to clear that up. Or you can just go to cornyenterprise.com and actually click the link on there as well. So those are just a couple of ways. We do encourage people to talk. I know a couple of people were talking in the chat. We do encourage people to talk, interact. And if you have any questions, you can ask the questions and everything. Mike G seems very, very knowledgeable about the music industry. So if you're an independent artist that wants more information, you have a question, make sure you hit it up, chat, and we're going to get his information later if you want to talk to him private as well for his services and everything. But Cancer has some questions for Mike G. I'm going to let him go off some questions before I ask mine and everything.
So what I was asking was, earlier you mentioned having the talent agency side, actors, actresses, and so on. For one, specifically for actors and actresses, this is going to probably be a couple questions together. Okay. But for one, specifically for actors and actresses, what is there any special criteria that they need to do or have or anything to work with your talent agency? And then two, outside of actors and actresses, what other talents do you work with? Outside of, like I said, actors and actresses, and then music industry.
Okay. For the first part, in regards to what actors and actresses need to have in regards to agency picking them up, for that, I would suggest actors and actresses to obtain some kind of training. Mm-hmm. There's companies here that actually provide training for not only actors and actresses, but also for models. Mm-hmm. But John Casablanco, that would be one of them. There's a couple of other companies here in the area that they can actually go to get training. For models, there are actually some modeling agencies here locally within Raleigh and Durham that actually can help them out in getting that. If anybody have any questions or would like to contact some of those people, mm-hmm. My information will be provided, I guess, later on, and I can actually provide that information for them in regards to where they can go to get the training. For my company, we prefer to have actors and actresses that are already trained, mm-hmm. Because when you go into actually a casting call, those are the auditions that actually they will go to in order to be selected for for a role. But when they go in, if somebody asks you provide your slant, it would be good to know what actual slant is, so that when they go in, they'll know how to introduce themselves. Mm-hmm. So when they say slant, okay, provide your slant, and they will go in. My name is Mike Gathings. I'm represented by the N4orce Entertainment Agency, LLC. I'm here to audition for the role of Casper. Mm-hmm. So they'll know actually what to do when they actually come in there. There are different things that will also help you as well too. If you had like music videos or things of that nature, it's best to start out like a extra, so you can actually see what goes on behind the camera and everything. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that go on that people don't see in regards to knowing the commands from the director, knowing your positions and your stances. they might say back to one. So, that would mean go back to where you started at the beginning of the scene. Mm-hmm. But it's little things that will help you out in regards to being prepared for an agency. And if they have a particular casting or booking that they think you fit the bill for, you can jump right in, audition, and hopefully get the part. But if it's somebody that's not experienced with it, it decreases your chances of being selected, because it's kind of tight in regards to the number of people auditioning for a particular role. So even though you make it through the first role, because I know that new movie Godzilla that's supposed to come out later this year, I had a couple of people that I submitted for roles in that particular movie, and they made the first selection. Most of the time, the first selection will be like a headshot. That's one thing that I would suggest people to get. Make sure they get like a full body shot, a headshot, and a 3/4 shot. Okay. In regards to the photos for the people who make their casting selections, get your size sheet and your appearance. So the size sheet is going to have like your weights, your height, and the size of the clothing that you wear and stuff like that, your waist size and all that. That information, they'll need all that. So it's best to have all that stuff together and those photos together, and put them in a portfolio and present that to a talent agency. Like I say, it's very competitive. You have a lot of people competing for the same role. So the more experience that you have, the better off your chances are getting it. So if somebody even have a play going on, I know we've been in some of Ryan Davis's production. So with that was like a start in. I was executive producer of a music video, and I think we've been in one other video. And we've been in 3 films, and then we're also on the last episode of One Tree Hill, which was on the CW. We actually was in a filming of that, but it helps out. It builds your resume, and like I say, it increases your chances of getting selected. But the first thing, I will make sure that I have those photos and your biography and your size sheet put together.
Okay. And then the second question was, so outside of actors, actresses, you mentioned models. Is there anybody, any other talents that you work with, your company works with?
On the modeling side or the acting side?
I just mean say people people if they play instruments, or if they have other talents. Do you do you guys work with?
I'll work with anybody that has a talent for music or acting. Anything entertainment wise. I'm open to working with them.
So producers,
right?
And I guess I'm more of on the acting side. So I would say DJs, producers, what you call, I can't think of the other one. I can't think of the name, but you'll be open to working with those type of talents.
Producers, yeah. There's one songwriter. Most of the artists that I work with, they write as well. They write their own lyrics. But there's also some people that they're not doing the singing part, but they actually do songwrite. So there is possibilities for them too. It's real hard because, especially with the producers, because there's so many of them out there. So it's you really have to be on top of your stuff in regards to the quality of your music. I remember back in the day when I was starting to work on my little beat machines and stuff like that, DR670, Dr. Rhythm. But back in those days, it wasn't as many. But now you got people putting up music on websites. They have their own little digital retail market sites that they're putting their music on. So it's very competitive now. So I would say the better the quality of music, the better increased chances you'd have of actually being able to make any money with it. The challenge is some people, a track might come through and it may be so basic that you may only have a drum line or the bass line, maybe a guitar. They might have keys in there, but on a good level to where some of the major labels would like to work with you, you're going to have a lot of tracks on there. There's going to be a lot of tracks. You might have a couple of synths, synthesizer tracks on there. You might have a couple of drum tracks on there. So it just the more complex, but it has to sound good. Once again, the more complex, but good quality, the better chances, I would say, of being able to make it. Because I've had a lot of tracks sent to me, and I could tell it was something like very basic Fruity Loops. For those who use that type of DAW equipment, they would know what that is. But not saying that everybody has to have Pro Tools or anything like that, because I think, like I say, your experience and your skill level has a lot to do with it as well in regards to how good a quality that music comes out. But I've had some music sent to me, like I say, it's been very basic and stuff like that, and some artists have actually sent music that they have the simple beat, and then they come over and the sound quality is not there. Some of the stuff I don't even know how it even made it out of the studio, but you get it and you listen to it, and you have to tell the person yay or nay. This is something I can work with. I think you really need to go back to the studio and try to get a better quality sound. The mix and the master is very important, a very important part of it, because you could have a good, it's what I call the theme. You can have a good theme with your track. I can kind of see how the producer was actually trying to make this track sound, but then if it's not mixed well, it can throw the whole thing off. Or if somebody has it and the track is good, but you have an artist that's rapping over it or singing over it and their mix is bad, it'll throw the whole track off as well. So those are things, like I say, hey, it can slide with a totally independent label because they can get it out. But if they're trying to go through Universal or one of the majors or something like that, like I say, everything that we send out, it gets watched by other people. Like for my company, I have a label manager. If you have any kind of deal, and these contracts are like 30-something, 40 pages long, they're real long pages. But if you're working with them, that's one of the drawbacks is even though you might be the boss of your label, you still got to answer to them because, like I said, they're going to review everything. Yeah. You have a label manager that's assigned to you, and when you send that music in, like I said, they're going to look over it. They tell me how many songs I got to have out per year in order to keep the contract. They will drop you. So that is one thing too, that if you can't keep up to your end of the agreement, the label can drop you, and you're back to independent. Not saying totally independent is bad. Like I say, the pros are being totally independent, and that's why I didn't want to go full major, which I'm not big enough, and I don't have the pockets to be able to handle being a major at this particular point. But being total independent, you have more creative control of whatever you send out. But like I say, you don't have that machine behind you, so it's a big difference between being with a major and have that machine behind you. Like Drake, nobody can really touch Drake right now because he has that machine pushing it. Yeah. So the same thing about Chris Brown. If Sony would have said, okay, after this incident that happened over there, we wanted to drop you, then he would have to start all over again and try to build. But he wouldn't have that same machine pushing him as much as the majors, because they have a lot of people that's actually working to make sure that he's getting those numbers. So you got people working on Spotify, you got people working on Pandora, you got people working on iTunes. Everybody's assigned out to who they're going to do, and it's part of that one machine. So that's how they get it out. You have promotional people. I know you've seen, they say it's certified. Was it verified? Verified Chris Brown. So now that one, he can send stuff out on, but he might have 4 or 5 other people that's just posting out there for him as well. You know? And the other sites that Universal or in Chris Brown's case, Sony are sending out there. So he has a lot of people working for him, and that's where that team helps them out. But if you're an indie, it's pretty much all on you. Okay, so that's one of the major things on that.
One of the things I want to add, because like one of the things that just happened to Chris Brown is that he just bought his masters and everything. How important is it for an artist to have their own masters as far as making money and stuff like that?
Oh, that's a very good question. It's very important, and we saw that with Michael Jackson. I think Prince had to fight. He had a long fight, but he eventually got on. But the thing is very important because you are able to gain more of the royalties from that particular music. If it gets used in any kind of movie or anything, you're getting some of that money from that. Whereas if you don't own the masters, the label will get most of the money. So that's one of the main and major differences with that. Even if Chris Brown, wow, I'm gonna get off him. I'm gonna say even if another artist had died and he didn't have his total rights to that music, he didn't own all the masters, that label can go back and still put out that music. I was looking at it last week, matter of fact. It was some real old, I think it was some Aretha Franklin tracks. It was a classic label that republished her music. So what happened is they can make more money off that particular music because they own the rights to it. Mm-hmm. But if you own all your masters, you have more control over what it can be used for and the money that's coming from that music. So it is a big step. That was a big step for him. It was a big accomplishment.
Yeah, I know because with the Aretha Franklin, I just watched the movie Upside, and I know her music was in that. Like, I'm not 100% sure if they had planned that before her death or after her death, but they had a lot of tributes to her in there. So there's a big possibility that was just going towards the label or not her estate.
Yeah, what's going to happen with that? Like you said, that just came out, right?
Yeah.
So they know that. They know that since they probably own the masters for that particular album or whatever that is that they're working on. Even if they did a documentary concerning her, they could get the money from that. I'm not saying all of it, but they could get a pretty large percentage. If anything's going on there, I would say the label is probably going to get a majority of the money, mm-hmm. more than her estate. You know, I don't know how she had her contract set up, but I would think that the label, and that's why they do it. Like I said, they're here to create and generate money. So that's what they're doing. Anything that's going to keep the machine going, they're going to capitalize on it. And like I say, if it's an artist that's not making a big buzz, they're going to shelve them. They're not going to push them as hard as somebody that's bringing in numbers. So that's the difference between. And I'm glad J. Cole, over time, I'm glad J. Cole is able to push his stuff up, you know, and get up there to the level that he's at, because it was so hard battling against the people who are already out there that's already in the machine, and the machine is behind the push. It's so hard to get your music actually heard. I know you hear on the radio all this time the top 40.
Yeah.
So the top 40 is going to spin. Okay, so what kind of chances do you think our local artists here can get into that top 40 to be able to get in that spin?
Yeah.
First of all, we're out of the days of the payola. So, that's out where you can go and just pay the DJ, can you spin my track? So that's illegal, so to say. No. But since payola is out, and everything is going corporate. Like I said, you still have some indie stations that you can get your music on, and thank God for that. I've actually worked with a few of them and got some music on those. But in regards to getting in full rotation, how you wanted to get in there, which now is not too long. You'll be good to get maybe 3 or 4 weeks rotation on a track. I think on the lower tier FM stations, you're probably looking at around the cheapest I've seen has been about $2,500, and anywhere from $25 to $500, $5,000. I'm sorry, $2,500 to $5,000 probably the range of the lower tier radio stations. Okay, most of us, we don't have that kind of money to just be throwing out for 30 days, you know.
Exactly.
So that's why you won't find that much. But then also you're competing against the majors.
Yeah.
So guess what?
They got that kind of money.
If you're a business and somebody's going to give you $5,000, but you have a major that's going to give you $30,000 plus bonus and incentives for prizes and giveaways on your radio station, who do you choose? And you can see why they get more of them in the rotation compared to the locals. It's not really financial beneficial. So, but hopefully things will change and go around. That's why a lot more independent labels are going on the digital, the webcast and stuff like that, going on the streaming services in order to get their music out there and get their name out there. But it's hard to crack into the industry, especially into the radio. But I say it is possible.
Yeah.
Chance the Rapper, he's one of the. I haven't heard anything new coming from him that's really hitting the radio hard. But that one that he had, that one project that he had, he did pretty good to get in there to get to the level that he.
Yeah.
So I think he won some awards, didn't he? I think he won some awards.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So, Mike. Sorry. Before you say, so does that with owning your masters and not owning and saying the record label owning more of the masters than the actual artists, is that the reason why so many artists who pass away and have unreleased tracks, those tracks are able to get released because either the artist doesn't own any of that prior to them passing, and the label can just put that out there?
Right, the labels own them. The labels own them, so that they might come back 5 years on down the road. We want a best of or a unreleased, previously unreleased tracks from artist XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like with Biggie. You remember Biggie?
Yeah, he kept having new music come out.
More albums come out. Well, the record label is not going to sit back and not make money on that, so that's why they put that out there. And that's why owning the masters are very important. And we'll go as far as to say this, even with your artist contract between the label and the artist, as an artist, you want to make sure that you're the contract is clear to you. If it's not clear to you, try to get some legal help in regards to understanding what's happening with those royalties, because something like that could happen. You could get dropped from the label.
And they still own your music.
They might come back later on, I want to release this particular song. So you want to make sure that it's in the contract how you want that set up to look like. For me, I usually go on that 80-20 scale. They have some that's been going on 70-30 now. Some labels have gone on that. I know, like Alta Fonte, they wanted me to do a 70-30. So, of course, them taking the 30 and me taking the 70, it still cuts into, it's a percentage 10% less than what I would make with the 80-20.
Exactly.
You want to, as an artist, you want to watch out for those 360 deals. 360 deal.
That's what I'm about to ask you about.
360 deals. You don't want that, because what'll happen is anything that you do, even if you go out there selling T-shirts, the label could come back and say, well, we get a cut of your physical inventory that you're selling as well. So you have to be careful about that. Like I said, in that contract, you want to make sure that you're watching all that stuff, because if it's not specific, and once you sign on that dotted line, they're going to hold you to it. And I don't know if there's many people here in this area right now doing physical deals, but that's something that you have to kind of watch out for in regards to your merchandise. It could be hats, like I said, I just use that, but it could be T-shirts, could be hats, could be anything. But if they have you in one of those 360 deals, and it'll be worded in a way to say that anything that you sell, any kind of merchandise or music or anything like that, they might want a percentage of it. Well, I ain't gonna say might. They will want a percentage if it's written in the contract like that. Yeah. But that's something that you want to watch out for, though.
Yeah, didn't that all start off because like album sales were down, but artists were going on the road making a whole lot of money. So labels wanted to get that percentage out, so they start trapping these people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They want some of that money. Like I said, right now, the main way that you get money in this particular industry is being on tour and the shows. Like I said, nobody's really buying music right now. I can be just honest with you and tell you that right now, nobody's really buying music. But the streaming, like I said, streaming and radio, that's what help. And that's why I'm focusing myself, like I said, more on the radio stuff instead of the sales, because it's two reasons. The first reason is the radio gets your music out there further. Like I said, with Chenier or Elian or Destiny Palmer, any of the artists, Angelina, any of the artists that I work with, like I said, I monitor to see where their hot spots are located. And whatever parts in the United States or around the world that they're hot in, that's where you want to try to focus. Or it might be a dead spot in there that you want to try to bring the notice, up. So it's good to look in that. But whenever you get to a point to where you notice there's a hot spot of people really liking your music, really feeling it. For Chenier, I know it's the state of Illinois, Ohio. A lot of the, like I say, he does mostly grown and sexy music. It's a stepping sound. So that's the stepping area. Along St. Louis, Missouri, you got a lot of steppers there. Florida. But that Illinois area, he's from New York, he's from Brooklyn. So, Queens. Sorry about that, Chenier. But NYC, I'll cover them all. But he's from NYC, so being from NYC, what's going to happen is you're going to catch all those people. And I noticed that he had a hot spot there. He also had a hot spot in Illinois. Now, the part I didn't like is that even though we had a nice showing here in this area, it wasn't as big as those areas. So to me, there's a problem here. There's a problem that a lot of our potential fans here in this area, in the Triangle area, are not supporting their local artists. So, and I've heard other artists say that they don't feel like they're really getting supported here in this area. But it goes to show you that even though I guess being here in this local area, they feel like, okay, well, I can see him anytime, so it's no big deal. Yet people in other states, they can look and say, okay, yeah, I'm really feeling this music. Me personally, I personally tend to have music that's more clean, more radio friendly. So a lot of the trap music and stuff like that, I may not push as much because, like I said, I'm trying to have my artist fan base to grow, and not saying that it won't grow by just reaching the fans who like trap music. But if trap music is the only area that you want to focus, that's what you're going to get. But for me, I want to try to get them out there. So radios, we all know they're not going to play the street version of the tracks.
Exactly.
They got to edit it. I had this discussion with the other label manager. I guess it was probably 2 years ago now. But he was all into, I think we did a showcase or something like that. We were judges of the showcase. And we had a rule in that showcase where we didn't want any profanity. There's two reasons for that. One reason was that the venue where we're holding the event was a restaurant, so you still had some people in there ordering food and stuff like that, so they may have children with them and all that. The second reason was, and for me personally, like I said, I try to get and see what kind of versatility artists have.
Yeah.
So if they can come out, anybody can get up there, blah, 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 and all kind of obscene words. But I want to see if you can come out there, and I want to see your content and see that you can do that with a clean version as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of artists, for some reason, they just can't do it. And I don't know why, but for some reason they say I just can't do a track without cussing. And you have to think about it like this. If you hear the music that's played on K97.5, you notice that the music is radio edited. You won't hear the N word. You know, nobody has to hear Ninja 5-6 times, you know, during the track. All the cursing and stuff like that's not going to be in there. So the way I try to tell artists that I work with is that I'm not saying that you can't do it. I'm not trying to curb anybody's creativity, but what I'm trying to do is to get you to enhance your creativity. I'm trying to get you to move to the next level and say that, hey, I can also have good content out there that even if somebody want to have their little daughter to listen to it, or their little son, you know, they still can listen to the same music and it can come over the radio.
Exactly.
You gotta be versatile.
But people don't, you know, a lot of them don't think like that. They just say, well, no, I'm from the street and I got to keep it street. Well, my suggestion to that, and I told that label manager that, is that, okay, if you want to keep it street, have a street version, have a clean version.
Yeah.
But when you send your demo, send the clean version. You know, you can send both, but make sure you got a clean version in there, because they're going to do just like the same way that I look at it is that I want to see how marketable a person is. And if I say that, okay, if I see that they can only target the street crowd, or they can only be played in clubs, but they can't get on the radio. Okay, that's holding back not only your development and your brand, but it also holds back N4orce's brand, because now I can't even put your stuff on the radio, because when you're in the studio, y'all didn't take the time out to do a clean version. Understand what I'm saying? So now you have to go back in the studio and re-edit the music because you don't have a clean version. All you have is the street version. So one thing I would suggest is to do both versions. Get a clean version and the street version. And whenever you have a situation like that, you want to submit your music to somebody, you'll have both things. Yeah. Because I'm going to listen to the clean one first, and then go to the second. I can tell you right now, Universal is going to, they're going to require that, because if they're going to want to put it on the radio. And that's why you have some people who actually been distributed by Universal, but their stuff, you know, you don't really hear it on the radio or anything. Yeah. They might get on the website or something like that, but that's about as far as they're going to get, because it's not marketable to be able to reach those other areas.
But you would think, being an artist, that has to be in the back of your mind, because being an artist, you're like, at some point your purpose is going to be to get your music on the radio so it can be heard around the world. And you listen, and as an artist, I know, you know, I mean, you're listening to music, whether that be on the radio or on the computer or whatever, but you know you want your music on the radio. So in order to get it on the radio, like you said, it has to be clean. It has to be radio ready. So when you say that you run into artists that are, you know, I can't do this clean, it's like, what do you know, my question to them would be like, what do you mean you can't do this clean? If you're creative, you should be able to do this clean. Right. Or if you can't do it all the way clean, you should be able to take out, you know, just change the words around, fill it in with another word. I mean, if you got to cuss, you just fill it in with another word. It's still clean, but I mean, if you got to put a word there, then put a word there or something. Right. Like, you have to be able to do that as an artist, because like you said, if not, your music's not going to be played on the radio. Right. You know, it's only going to be played in the clubs. It's only going to be played by people who have your music and play it at their parties. And like you said, it's going to hold back N4orce. It's going to hold back. It's going to hold you back. And you're never going to be as big as you would like to be.
Yeah, I've actually, I've seen some artists that only had the street version. And they were booked to do like I think it was like a fundraiser. And the fundraiser had children. So this particular artist gets up there, blah 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 blah, blah 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 blah, and you know, the parents and the the organizers of the event, they look around like, oh my God, oh yeah, you know, it was a cut, it was a rap.
That remind me of this clip that I've been seeing on I think it was on Facebook or Instagram. They had this high school had a talent show, and the kids were rapping this song. All of a sudden, all these curse words, and then the principal had his head, and then all he's heard is oh. But yeah, he was like he regret saying that they could do rap songs and everything. But yeah, he got up so fast, shut it down. Got up on that stage like no. So they would just start their whole school started cursing along with the rap words and everything. Yeah, and they just shut that down. But yeah, you gotta be versatile and be able to like you're limited in yourself.
Right.
If you talking about I'm trying to stay street and stuff like that, you limited in yourself and like you basically just trying to be a local artist. If you're not trying to expand out, like you might just get like a small crowd and everything, but like you don't hear that type of stuff on the radio. That's why like I started with, cause like before like on my show, like I just let anybody come on my show with any type of music, but then I started telling people, yeah, I'm only gonna play the clean version. So and like some people will say, yeah, I got my music, can you play it? I was like, do you have the radio version? And like they'll tell me, I'll try to get it, and never hear from them again. So.
And what I'm saying, it kills opportunities that you have. See, right there, they had the opportunity to have the music played, and they can't because what? They didn't do both versions of the song. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would suggest to any artist that want to have the music be able to go worldwide and be available to more people is they do both, both versions of it, the clean and the street version. Because it will, like saying in that example that you said, now he probably won't let any more hip hop, any more rap artists, come on there because of just that one group. Mm-hmm. So you kind of mess up opportunities for other people, not only just yourself.
So I had another question. I wanted to get into now. Again, earlier you said that you work with a Latin-based company now. So what brought that on? Were you was it the same as same mind frame as when you went into working with Universal, or was it something different?
Yeah. With me, I want to try to increase on something every year. Like next year, I'll be looking for something else to try to build N4orce into. But I saw a need for a avenue for Latin artists to be able to have their music distributed. So I know a few of them, and they were telling me that they were being overcharged, by studios and stuff like that to record music. I've actually had some come to my home. I have a little studio set up there where I actually recorded some, and I actually went ahead and put them through Altafonte, which is the Latin company that we're talking about. And it's a Latin company, so the point that they speak Spanish is not a problem because that's who they cater to mostly. Mm-hmm. So some Spanish, hablo poquito español solamente. I speak a little bit of Spanish, but the thing is, I don't know all the words, but I've learned enough to be able to get their information and get into the portal and submit their music and get it published. Like I said, mostly it goes out worldwide. Mm-hmm. But like I said, for theirs, they emphasize the Latin countries. So you're talking like Brazil, Chile, Argentina, Spain, Portugal, countries like that. So it goes to the Spanish-speaking companies. So it's not wasted so much per se in the United States. Well, we may not have that many Spanish-speaking people, but in those countries where they have that, I wanted to be one of the first companies that actually can provide that service for them. So, like I said, it was something new because, like I said, the words I didn't understand, I had to put in a translator and, get it down. But so far, it's pretty good. And also, they also provided access for me to get music videos on Vivo. Okay. So that was another hard thing that's hard for people to really get their music up on Vivo. So anything that I submit through that goes to Vivo. In regards to dealing with Angelina, like I said, the Latin artist that's living in the UK now, with her, it was a challenge at first because, like we were talking about earlier, in regards to dealing with producers and with her, and then the engineers at the studio, dealing with a distance, there's a difference there, because whenever you're dealing with a local artist, you can pretty much go to the studio and you can see what's going on.
Exactly.
But when you're dealing with something that's overseas, you can't really see what's going on. You have to trust and just listen to the drafts and the final product once they're done dealing with that. But it was a challenge there, being that she does speak English. It wasn't a problem in regards to us communicating.
Yeah.
But and it's the UK, so it's different than dealing with somebody that's Spanish and then having to communicate back and forth from there.
Yeah.
I've been kind of lucky so far. Like I say, the first Spanish artist that I worked with, like I say, he's local, so he just come to the house and we could just put things together there, and he speaks English. There's a new guy that I'm starting to work with. He's like a Latin. It would be like equivalent to our R&B music, but it's a Latin R&B artist. The difficulty there is he doesn't speak that much English, so we're communicating through translation on most of the stuff, and so like the contract and stuff like that, I had to convert it to Spanish for him to be able to read it. So those are the only kind of drawbacks to that. Then when it comes times to like do shows and things like that, we got to communicate and try to find out, where he's going to be booked, how he's going to get there, and all that stuff. So it's a challenge when you have that language barrier. Like I said, with the artists that's in the UK, it's no problem because we speak the same. Pretty much they have the Queen's English, but. We're pretty much, there's no communication issue there in regards to dealing with that. I thought that was pretty neat, though, being able to deal with artists not only in the United States but in other countries.
Okay. So are you
have to deal with conversion rates too? I didn't talk about the conversion rates.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question.
For royalties and stuff like that, of course, the conversion rates are different. So. You have some challenges there in regards to if somebody is supposed to, there's an invoice for a certain amount of pounds, British pounds, then you have to convert that to United States dollar or whatever to how much it's going to go back and forth either way. For the Altafonte, like I said, the Latin company, they do all that for me, so I don't have to really worry about that.
Well, that's nice.
So that was good on that particular part. Just the language part is the only challenging part for that. But like I said, I do offer those services. The Spanish people or the Latin countries, I guess I should say, they have different performance rights organizations. Like we discussed before about the BMI, the ASCAP and CCAP and all that stuff. Here, they have different ones that handle the Latin countries. So getting used to what you need to have for that. I think for Chenier, we just got him signed up for a direct sign exchange account. So I have that as well. I'm registered with BMI myself, and Chenier is registered with BMI. But those are things that I try to help people with in regards to making sure they can get signed up with performance rights organizations. If you perform somewhere, you want to be able to make sure you get credit for performing that place, and you want to make sure you can get paid for it.
Yeah.
Those are things that we're trying to make sure we can enhance and get all signed up for. So have his project set up with MediaBase. So whenever it's played on radio, the scans are tracked for the spins.
Okay.
So that's another thing that I don't know if a lot of artists know about in regards to that. But I think I've covered most.
So do you have any, I think you mentioned earlier about the one upcoming event for the, what Kiki shared.
Oh, the gospel concert.
The gospel concert, yes. Is there any other upcoming events that you guys have coming up? Anything you're working on in the future?
Yeah, like I said, other than the release, of course, shouts out to Mr. Chenier. Shouts out to him for a release that he has coming out on February the 14th. That one, the song is titled Short Dresses and Stilettos. Like I said, it's another stepping, grown folks music, stepping track. So I'm looking forward to that coming out. That'll be coming out through Universal as well. And then we have the back to school supply drive gospel concert That's going to be on August the 17th of this year. That'll be coming out, and that's the one where we'll have Kiki Sheard. We'll be probably putting out postings before long for people who would like to open for that particular show. So I'll probably be posting for that before too long to see who would like to open and making our selection on who would have opening for her. So right now, that's all I'm working on right now. I would like to put in some R&B shows too as well. Mr. Chenier more than likely will be heading those things up. We want to kind of bring the true R&B back and have that in. Not putting anything against the new style of R&B, but if you notice, when it comes to classics and stuff like that, they last longer.
Yeah, it definitely lasts longer.
Even if you listen to somebody like Frankie Beverly and Mays, you know, those songs are timeless. So we want to try to bring back music that anybody can listen to, anybody can know the lyrics and learn the lyrics, and it will last a while, and instead of just 30 days and on to the next song, because that's where we're headed right now. And just trying to grow the growing and sexy movement. But that's basically it. But that's what we have on tap for this time.
Awesome. Well, Elle, you got anything?
We're actually coming up towards the end of the show and everything. Yeah, I believe what the last thing that I was going to ask you is about any releases or events that you have going on with your artists. Did you give out the actual locations and dates and everything?
Don't think I did. Like I say, the closest release is going to be Chenier's on the February the 14th, and that's going to be on all the digital retailers. Like I said, it's going through Universal, so it'll be on all of it. You can catch it on Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, Deezer, you name it, Amazon, all of them. But that'll be the first release coming out. Like I said, we'll probably have some other releases coming out. I'm looking at probably about 4 more releases coming out this year from the artists.
So no event performances or anything?
Chenier will be performing in Durham at the Durham Armory. If you look him up on Spotify, places on there, he'll be performing at the Durham Armory on actually, I guess it's this Friday, the 25th.
Yeah, Friday.
The 25th. Yeah, he'll be performing on the 25th at the Durham Armory. I think the door is open at 6, I believe it is. I think the show starts at 8.
Okay. Is he the only? Is that the only one that you got coming up? Just this Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the only one coming up this Friday.
All right. Well then, for all the people out there, go ahead and give them all of your contact information where they can find you, follow you, get in contact with you.
Yeah. If you want to find me on Twitter, it's at N4orce. That's N is in Nancy, the number 4, the letter ORCE, and ENT for Ent. So at N4orce. Same thing for Facebook. You can look for us at N4orce Entertainment Agency. On Instagram at N4orce. So try to keep it consistent.
Yeah.
That's the best way. But that's about it.
And can you give out one more time all the services that you actually provide with your agency?
Okay. Currently, right now, like I said, I do music consultations, do music distribution, website design. Like I said, we're a casting agency, acting agency. Let's see, did I cover it all? Used to do videos, but I kind of lean back from the videos.
Why are you leaning back on the videos?
Well, just time.
Oh.
Just time.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, there you have it. As you can see, Mike is very knowledgeable in the entertainment industry. He actually gave us some information that I wasn't aware of at the time. So, like, if you're an independent artist or anything, or you're looking to get your start, I always tell people, like, if this is not just a hobby for you, you want to invest in your business and invest in your brand, which you are your own brand and everything. And best way to do that is to have a budget for your marketing, because like he said, that he'll get some artists that don't have a budget or anything. You have to have a budget in this industry if you're trying to make it big. So make sure that you have a budget. Come to him, hit him up. He gave you all his social medias. Did you give out your email?
Email, it's kind of long, but it's all it is Mike G at N4orce Agency.com.
Alright, so you can also email him, contact him that way as well. Take advantage of this opportunity. I know some people might see this on the replay and everything. So like I said, I always appreciate those that actually watch us live or on the replay. Like I said, you can catch us on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and we just got on iTunes. So those are all different ways that you can listen to this show on demand. If you caught us late, you can go back and listen to it on those platforms as well. And also Spreaker, the platform that we actually host everything on as well. So those are all different ways that you are able to listen to us. If you did catch us on demand, you can go back, listen to those on those sites and everything. I'm going to give Cancer an opportunity to give out his social medias. And if Joy's still on the line, she can give out her social media as well.
Alright, y'all know where y'all can find me. King Cancer _1914. That will be on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. On Facebook is King Cancer 1914. And those are everywhere where you can find me at. And I think we lost Joy a long time ago.
It's showing that she's still there.
Is she? I don't know.
Joy, are you still there? I guess we did. Like
No, don't know. Sorry.
Love.
Give out your social medias.
All right, y'all can catch me on Instagram at create_these80 and on Facebook as Joy Bees. And also catch my blogs on quarantineenterprise.com.
Alright. And as I stated before, if you're interested in playing flag football, hit me up at info@quarantineenterprise.com. All our platforms is on Twitter is Quarantine Radio, one word. On Instagram is quarantine_radio. You have a visual size as far as photography and cinematography is quarantine_vision. You can follow me on my platforms as ill_Mackenzie on everything as far as Twitter, Snap, Instagram, and Facebook. I think Facebook, my fan page is I am Ill Mackenzie Music. I believe that's that for my fan page, or you can just look up Ill Mackenzie. I think it actually comes up for my personal page or the fan page. You will find it under Ill Mackenzie. But yeah, like I said, I appreciate everybody that's been tuning in and everything, and I do appreciate Mike for coming on, giving us some information and everything. But like I said, that one of our biggest things is we're trying to make sure that we educate people on everything. And I wanted to bring Mike on the show because I know that his business actually gives back to the independent artists. Like he said, he's trying to do stuff for North Carolina. That's one of his main goals and stuff like that. And like he said, it's a lot, because that's what I do hear from a lot of North Carolina artists and everything, is just the support. Because one of the things that I was going to talk about, and I totally forgot about it, I got sidetracked there, but I do hear like a lot of artists say that they got to go out of state to actually make their money and everything. Like you did mention about, they don't get too much love as far as artists actually, their fans actually going to their shows in North Carolina. Because like I know one of my friends, I'm not going to actually mention his name and put him out on blast, but he said that he'd rather go out of state, and like he really doesn't like doing shows in North Carolina because like he doesn't make any money as far as that. But when he goes out of state, he gets a lot of love from people outside the state, which it shouldn't be like that, but it seems like that's how it is. So that's something that North Carolina has to work on, and I know like a lot of artists were complaining about the J. Cole festival not having a lot of North Carolina artists on there, but he's still providing a platform to have a festival in North Carolina that's going to bring attention to North Carolina, and that's what a lot of people are missing. So, as long he's still coming back to North Carolina to actually try to give back and make it like magnify the talent here, because you still have the opportunity to network with people at the festival. So that's something that a lot of people have to look at as well. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on the show, chopping it up with us and talking. We didn't get to talk about current events because I was liking everything that you were talking about. So that's why I was trying to keep the ball rolling of you giving information and everything, trying to help people out with that. But Thursday we have a I think it's a media outlet. I got to double check. I know that he does photography and stuff like that, but we're going to have a guy that he does basically his company's on media and everything. So we'll actually talk to him. I believe his name is no, let me not say the wrong name and everything. But yeah, so Thursday we'll have a media guy on the show. Tune in at 8:00 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to see exactly what's going on, why the link is not working on the mobile. It might be something that I had pressed and everything. But I did do some digging around, and I saw that when I clicked on the link on my computer, it popped up and everything. So I'm gonna work on that for you guys. We're just trying to make this smooth transition from, I know a lot of people are watching this on Facebook Live, so we're just trying to get everybody this smooth transition on going on the website or going on YouTube. All right, but I do appreciate everybody tuning in. Other than that, this show has been quarantined. We'll see y'all Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time sharp. All right.
Hey, this is Nola Adem. You are now rocking with Il McKenzie. Right here.
Yo, what up, world? It's your man 504 Detroit. You already know every Tuesday, every Thursday, I'm tuned in to the hottest radio station across the land, Quarantine Radio. So they push it down and they play all the hottest new music. Let's get it.
It's your boy Gabe, and I want to give a big shout out to Quarantine Radio. Make sure you check them out every Tuesday and every Thursday. And thank you for supporting my new single, Down Low.
I want to hear that new soul-free wisdom on Quarantine Radio.
Yo, what's up, man? It's the kid Swift, a baby, young Swift. One time for the check-in with my dog, my homie, Il McKenzie, straight out of ATL, Georgia. And you know how we rocking out here, baby. Let's get it.
Being humble, get no respect.